47 years before construction workers discovered the skeleton in the old farmer's well on Chicken Hill, a Jewish theater manager in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, named Moshe Ludlow, had a vision about Moses. Moshe had this vision on a Monday morning in February as he was cleaning out the remnants of a Chick Webb one-night stand at his tiny all-American dance hall and theater on Main Street. Webb and his roaring 12-piece band was the greatest musical event Moshe had ever witnessed in his life, except for the weekend he managed to lure Mickey Katz, the brilliant but temperamental Yiddish genius of klezmer music, out of Cleveland to play a full weekend of family fun and Yiddish frolic at Moshe's All-American Dance Hall and Theater 2 months before. Now, that was something. Katz, the kid wizard of clarinet, and his newly formed 7-piece ensemble braved a furious December snowstorm that dropped 14 inches in the eastern Pennsylvania mountains to make it to the gig. And thanks to blessed God, they had. Because Moshe counted 249 Jewish shoe salesmen, shop owners, tailors, blacksmiths, railroad painters, deli owners, and their wives from 5 different states, including upstate New York and Maine, who came to the event. There were even 4 couples from Tennessee who drove through the Blue Ridge Mountains for 3 days, eating cheese and eggs, unable to keep kosher on the Sabbath, just to be with their fellow Yids, and right before Hanukkah, for which they all should be at home lighting candles for 8 days. Not to mention one of the husbands was a fanatic and believed that the fast of Tisha B'Av, normally celebrated in July or August, should be celebrated twice a year instead of once, which meant staying home every December and starving and peppering the walls with pictures of flowers for 3 weeks straight as a show of thanks to the Creator for his generosity in helping the Jewish people of Eastern Europe escape the pogroms, for the relative peace and prosperity of America's promised land. Thanks to him and the weather, all 4 couples were in a foul mood once they arrived, having squeezed into 2 ancient Packards, one of which had no heat, and driven through the savage snowstorm. They announced plans to leave immediately when they heard talk of more snow, but Moshe talked them out of it. That was his gift. Moshe could talk the horns off the devil's head. "How many times in life does one get to hear a young genius?" he said to them. "It will be the greatest event of your life." He led them to his pocket-sized room in a boarding house on Chicken Hill, a tiny area of ramshackle houses and dirt roads where the town's blacks, Jews, and immigrant whites, who couldn't afford any better, lived, set them before his warm wood stove, filled them with warm iced tea and gefilte fish, and amused them with the story of his Romanian grandmother who jumped out a window to avoid marrying a Haskalah Jew, only to land atop a Hasidic rabbi from Austria. "She knocked him to the mud," he exclaimed. When he looked up, she was reading his palm. So they got married. That brought smirks and chuckles to their faces, because everyone knew the Romanians were crazy. With their laughter ringing in his ears, he rushed back to the crowd who waited anxiously in the snow for the theater doors to open. As Moshe made his way down the muddy roads of Chicken Hill to his theater on Main Street, his heart sank. The makeshift line that had formed an hour before had exploded into a mob of close to 300. Moreover, he was informed that the temperamental genius Katz had arrived but was inside the theater in a foul mood, having braved the terrible storm, and was now threatening to leave. Moshe raced inside and found to his relief that his always dependable helper, an old colored man named Nate Timblin, had settled Katz and his band backstage before the warm wood stove, serving them hot tea in water glasses, fresh kosher eggs, gefilte fish, and challah bread, all neatly laid out buffet style. The young Katz seemed pleased and announced that he and his band would set up as soon as they finished eating. From there, Moshe went back outside to stall the waiting crowd.